Hello, friends. This is Pritha. Welcome back to 5 Minutes of Authenticity. I am your host, Pritha Lal. I'm also an authenticity life coach. And this month we are talking about boundaries as our theme for this podcast, where I talk about various reflections that I am privileged to have with my clients and in turn also be inspired by them to share some of my own thoughts. This month in particular, I've been sharing some of my anecdotes and lessons that I have learned over the years that have taught me on how to build some boundaries and continue to work on them. The one thing that we all get stuck up on, friends, is that boundaries have to be laid out. They're not a line in the sand and the wave comes in and it goes away. No. For them to be authentic, there has to be a conversation. They don't live in our minds, they live in our mouths. And at some point, they have to be spoken. And one of the living lessons that I'm going through almost every single day is the evolving boundaries of raising a child, specifically a beautiful, very sensitive, very sensible, sassy daughter. My 14-year-old Pari. I decided to be a stay-at-home mom after she was born. And as in the last 14 years, boundaries have changed for her, right? Earlier, it used to be the physical boundary of making sure she doesn't fall down the stairs, or to teach her that you don't stick your finger into an electrical circuit or a socket. And she never did. She was told, and she was very good about making sure that she never did that. There were boundaries about when we went to someone's house that you don't touch certain things. There were boundaries about cleaning up when we went somewhere and they offered their toys to play. Over time, from being a toddler to an elementary school goer to now a teenager, the boundaries that I have to establish for her and for myself have undergone a vast amount of change. I am learning when to hold, when to release, when to guide, when to step back. And trust me, friends, it is not easy. Last month we talked about the Beatles binder, where my daughter decided to write down her own voice and air her thoughts about what she went through as a friend had hurt her very deeply. She took a year or two to process this, and today she is ready to let it go. And so she has taught me by example on how to speak your truth with more clarity. Today, my boundaries with her are often in terms of what she can or cannot take me for granted on, where she needs to draw her line about what she says to me, how she speaks to me. Because teenagers, it's understandable, they go through a whole variety of emotions, and that is undeniably true and valid, and I respect that. But there are boundaries that I have to have for myself so that I am not depleted at the end of the day. They don't have to be dramatic, they have to be calm, steady, and simple. Sometimes it could be something like, please don't text me, I will not be answering your call today. Or I need a moment to step away from this conversation. Or I am sorry, but this behavior does not work for me. But I am sorry, but you saying XYZ was deeply hurtful. And those are not easy conversations, and I will not for a moment say that my voice is even keeled and I do not raise my voice. Heck no, that would be a complete lie. But what is authentic in all of this is that I do lay my boundaries out, and I expect the respect, and I hope I can give the respect of the boundaries she has. She's very clear about how she wants to dress. She's very clear about the wardrobe she chooses. She's very clear about how she would like to go to a particular event, and I respect that. But at the same time, if that particular event requires her to dress a certain way for that particular occasion, and given we're from India, there are various cultural events we attend where you have to dress a certain way, I have to say that, you know what, sweetie, this is where we have to do this. And so I would expect her to respect that as much as I respect the fact that she would like to dress a certain way to her friend's house. There are also boundaries about television and about screen time and all of those physical boundaries. But the good thing, what I find in all of this is that if she's watching something and she's a huge fan of The Office, and there are certain scenes, there are certain dialogues that may not be appropriate for a 14-year-old, but my husband and I have a very open conversation space in our house where she can discuss anything, any boy, any girl, any issue. But I've noticed when I don't come down too hard on those, she herself will, forward that scene or delete or just not watch that particular episode. So boundaries, as I'm realizing more and more, they're not about controlling others, they're about guiding yourself. Choose one boundary sentence that you will practice saying this week, even if it's only to the mirror. For me, I think it's going to be, I need a moment to think. I need a moment to pause. I have to practice saying this and not react as often or as quickly as I do. I have to learn to be more in the listening space and appreciate her boundary and not get into a solution space, because that's what moms do. Next week, friends, we will close out the month of May by reframing our boundaries as an act of love and not a restriction. Going back to our first episode where I had mentioned boundaries are not walls, they're not a closed door, they are a window to let in what you want and keep out what you don't want. Thank you, friends, for joining me here today. If you're here for the first time, a very warm welcome. I hope you'll revisit. I hope you'll subscribe. If you've been here before, do come back. This is Pritha. You were listening to 5 Minutes of Authenticity. Until next time.